Good evening, campers, it's me, Kieran. Today we're going to talk about Audrey Magee's The Colony, which has been absolutely raved about. It has been a sensation that I don't think anyone thought that it was going to be. Everyone who has read this has absolutely adored everything about it. We'll see about that. We start off the story with Mr. Lloyd getting into an old rickety boat. He doesn't want motors, he wants an authentic experience of crossing over to an island. And Mr. Lloyd has his concerns straight up from the get-go, with the Irish fisherman not seeming to care. Any concerns about will they die? The fisherman's like, yeah, it's a possibility. The fisherman and the Irish seem to be salt of the earth people. It just is what it is. Yeah, if it does get foggy and the waves get a bit tumultuous, yeah, we could overturn it and die. There could be loads of issues that happen across the way. Mr. Lloyd's sensibilities are a little bit shaken up, but as long as he gets over to the island, he's completely fine. Mr. Lloyd is an artist and he has brought his paint, his linseed oil, his canvases to paint what he sees. This is going to be his next body of work. This is his sole purpose, to paint. He's not there to speak to anyone. He's not there to get into the politics. He just wants to look at beautiful landscapes and paint beautiful pictures. And we get a sense of that as this book is split into two really distinct parts. The majority of it are the people on the island, mostly revolving around Mr. Lloyd and his time there and the conversations that go on about what he's painting and why he's painting, and if that's a good thing, if that's a bad thing. The other part of this isn't a cohesive whole. It doesn't really flow with the rest of the story. It is stark, it is dissonance, and that is, across Ireland, the Protestants and the Catholics are killing each other. The IRA and the Ulster Defence are at arms, but these armies aren't made of military. These are paramilitary. These are just ordinary people trying to go about their day, but are just in the wrong place at the wrong time, who are with the wrong people at the wrong time, who believe the wrong thing at the wrong time. Allow me to tell you a story about my mate's father, which I think is just a great story. So he was in Ireland during the time of the Troubles. He's not Irish, he was visiting for some reason. And I think he was by Londonderry. It's somewhere around there. He's around the centre. And he's driving along this long country road, gets pulled over, obviously cacking himself because he knows what on earth is going on with all the car bombs and the shootings. And he goes like, hi, how can I help? Guy notices his accent and goes, Protestant or Catholic? My mate's dad, as he's recounting the story, goes, I didn't really know what to say because there's clearly no answer. So I just told him the truth. And he went, oh, I'm atheist actually, I'm from like Yorkshire way. Now this is where the story gets real tense. So this paramilitary with this assault rifle aiming it towards my mate's dad goes, so you Protestant atheist or Catholic atheist? He thought the guy was IRA, so went, Catholic? And then like slung the gun on his back and went, have a nice day, and walked off. And he said that was the most like petrifying moment of his entire existence. And there is something, that story alone, doesn't matter about the facts, doesn't even matter about the figures, like that should tell you how absolutely paranoid and abhorrently violent the Irish were, that even if you were atheist, you had to decide which side of the religion you were atheist against. It's beyond. But Mr. Lloyd, he is oblivious to all of this. He doesn't really seem to care. He doesn't even seem to notice. He's there for his art. He's there for the landscape. But everything else is just happenstance. It's just, this is the Irish way of life. You can imagine Mr. Lloyd just going along to one of the dinners, trying to mumble along with a jig going, meanwhile the Irish, despite their beautiful language and beautiful landscapes, understand what is going on around them and are just trying to live by. Maybe need to find some entertainment which is why they would go to sing Shine true na misha try na misha 14. Shine true nach misha savannah kwa eki da kote. Rachida gali Rachida gali le 14. Rachida gali eki galashi le mole. Shine true nach misha try na misha 14. Shine true misha savannah kwa eki da kote. Marishade chasade hasa, garishade chasade vodi. Marishade chasade hasa, mishade chasade kawe. Shine through yada mishana, shine through a mishade vodi. Shine through a mishana, mishavana, akwe kote. Kabida roge vodi. Kabida roge, kabida puida gasale. Shine through a mishana, shine through a mishana 14. You know, who else can spit an Irish jig halfway through the review? Let me know, because that took me like way longer to learn than I thought. Some of you might think that the reason I've put in this effort is because I absolutely love the book. Sadly, that was not the case. The amount of times it was like Piranesi with the bloody albatross. Self-portrait, me at the rocks. Self-portrait, me putting my suitcase away. Self-portrait. Island. Oh no. The art side of this bored me. I was interested at the beginning, but it is literally Mr. Lloyd painting some rocks and then painting some people, and he's not meant to do that. And the Irish people go, no, he's not meant to do that. They're not really doing anything. Yes, there's a metaphor here about the Troubles and the English and the Irish. I understand that, but by gosh, did I understand? Furthermore, what I wanted from this book, and I thought I was going to get, yet never really did, was the discussion of Irish, about the use of Irish and the decline of Irish. Now, I'm Welsh, and the Celtic languages and the Gaelic languages have had a very similar history when it comes to English encroaching on the language. The reason why English became the dominant language and the predominant language was not because the Welsh, the Manx, the Bretons, the Cornish, the Irish, the Scots and the Gaelic speakers decided that English was better. It was more so that England and English presided over all the laws. Therefore, the laws of the land were in English. It was the magistrative language. If you needed anything, if you wanted to get anywhere in Britain during this time, you had to speak English. The colony touches on this, but it's very heavy-handed, and that's because of the introduction of JP. Now, JP is a French linguist who has come to the island to assess the language, how the Irish people are maintaining their language, and if ultimately on this island it will just subside into part of their past. Now, JP's quite interested because he's French. He speaks French. He also uses English. He has another language, his mother language, the language that his mother speaks, but in order to get somewhere in the world, he has to drop the mother's tongue completely and focus on French and English. They are what will allow him to explore the world. Without that, he wouldn't be in Ireland, he wouldn't be able to communicate with the Irish, and ultimately he wouldn't be able to do the job that he is currently doing. English holds a weight, and so does French in some of the world. It holds a weight that no other native languages can even contest with. But in regards to English, let's talk about Mr. Lloyd, the Englishman. Well, he really doesn't want to converse with anyone. I think he's a little bit at dismay when he realises a boy on the island, James, can speak English and speaks English fluently. You can really feel Mr. Lloyd's patience being tested as James, whose Irish name is Seamus. Well, let's talk about that for a minute. James, Seamus, wants to reject his Irish, maybe not his heritage, maybe not his culture, but his connotations. Just like JP understands that in order to prosper, he has to become English to some degree. To James, Mr. Lloyd is the key to opening up all of this, but we'll soon realise that Mr. Lloyd is trying to keep as many doors shut as possible. And to shut the door on this, waning. It was waning. I kind of knew everything that she was talking about Magee. I didn't think it went anywhere. I don't think it went anywhere. It's been a few days since I recorded my review, but apparently my phone just stopped recording halfway through, so I never actually did the score. I'm just going to give this a 2. I'll put it in the Testaments Club. Just like how Lloyd's paint sits on his canvas. It's all a bit surface level to me. Once again, a hyped book doesn't live up to the hype. Imagine what the lap for that review is going to be like there. Oh boy.